Hello everyone, JKG here, back with another One Punch Man video, and today I'm gonna do a video that has been requested for quite a while. And I never really had the resource to do it until I came across this Excel sheet made by Mikha. So yeah, I'll link the Excel sheet below in the description so you guys can take a look. They have all the information there, all the Ultra Ultimates and Enhanced Passive. Yeah, so I'm just going to make a video based on that. Mostly info from that Excel sheet, some is from my own. Yeah, and also I was quite busy the past few weeks because I was preparing for my wedding. So if you guys want to, you can go follow my Instagram to take a look at the photos. Yeah, I'll link it in the description below. So these are all the Ultra Ultimates. I won't be doing the 5-star passive yet because I don't have a lot of information on that. Yeah, because you need to actually own the unit to see their 5-star, so the information I don't really have. Yeah, so I'll be doing Ultra Ultimates first. Once the enhanced passive list is updated, then I will do a video on that. Yeah, so let's get on with the first one. So first one, I'll be going by the Chinese server's order of release. So Boros is first. Okay, so his ultimate. Okay, so the keepsake will increase Boros ultimate from 210% to 264% of your attack. And then each Esper ally usually increases the Boros' damage by 105%, now increases to 158% for each ally, up to 3 times. Yeah, so that's quite a significant increase. It's almost 450%, no, 470% almost. Yeah, so that's a total of about 600% damage, which is pretty good. Yeah, so Boros with Keepsake is actually still being picked right now because of the crazy damage. Yeah, and then let's move on to King. So King's ultimate, it doesn't increase the damage. So after applying the fear, it heals all allies by 50% of King's attack, and then it's increased to 65% of the attack. Yeah, that's about all for the keepsake. So I think King's keepsake is one of the least useful because that's the only thing it increases. Yeah, nothing else. Okay, next is Metal Bat, RIP to the C server. We never got him. I'm not sure when we will, but yeah, for the Chinese server anyway. The keepsake increases his damage from 150% to 190%. And then 50% chance of applying injury increased to 60%. So it's actually quite little. I'm not sure why they do this. Yeah, it's not very good, I guess. I think. Yeah, and then after the ultimate, you have a tenacity, which you create a tenacity shield of 10% of Metal Bat's HP is increased to 20%. Yeah. Moving on, Metal Knight. Okay, the Metal Knight keepsake increases the ultimate damage from 100% to 120%. And then chance of inflicting injury increased from 50% to 65%. Lastly, burn damage increased from 50 to 100%, which is quite a lot. Yeah, so this one is a pretty good keepsake. Yeah, but I think it's coming soon. Yeah, so on the 13th of December, Metal Knight should be coming back, which means after 1 week, his keepsake should be out. So his keepsake is actually quite worth getting. Yeah, but then now that there's Zombie Man core, I'm not sure Metal Knight is even relevant. He's still a very good combo with Tatsumaki. Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's a good pick for your team. Yeah, but still a pretty solid keepsake. Okay, next is Silverfang. Okay, so Silverfang increases the damage from 150% to 190%. And then the internal injury damage from 140 to 160%. Yep, that's about all. Then Zombie Man. Zombie Man's keepsake increases his ultimate damage from 240 to 300%, which is not too bad, quite solid. His keepsake is pretty good, and then it also heals the allies from 100% increases to 150%. Yeah, which is quite nice. Okay, up next is Garo, the latest unit in our server. So his ultimate is also same as Metal Knight. The damage increases from 100 to 120%, and then the internal injury damage from 130 to 145%. Yeah, and then the targets hit from 3 random enemies, it now increased to 4, which is not too bad. Quite good, I would say. Yeah. Okay, next is Flashy Flash. Okay, so from here on are units that haven't been released yet, so I may or may not go through a little bit of the skills. So Flashy Flash Ultimate attacks the whole row for 5 hits, 140%, now increased to 170% damage. And then 70% chance to inflict shatter on enemies, now increased to 80%. And the extra damage from shatter increased from 30 to 35%. Also, for every enemy that is slower than Flashy Flash after his ultimate, it actually gives Flashy Flash a shield of 7% up to a maximum of 42%, and then after the keepsake increases from 10% per enemy up to 60%, which means that if Flashy Flash is the first unit to go and your entire enemy team, 6 units, is slower than Flashy Flash, then he'll get the maximum amount of shield of 60%. Yeah, so it's 60% of your max HP, which is pretty nice. Yeah, it makes him a little bit tanky as well. So he's the first to go, but he wouldn't be afraid of getting hit that much, so he can actually be used on the front line. Yeah, so I think this is by far the one that changes the most things. Yeah, so moving on, Goketsu. Okay, so Goketsu's ultimate deals 180%, increases to 210%, but take note, this damage is inflicted to all enemies. Yeah, so his ultimate actually attacks all, and it deals 210%, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, so above his already quite high base HP and attack, it also deals a crazy amount of damage, and also heals himself by 20%, but then the keepsake doesn't increase the heal amount. If not, I think it will be too OP. Yeah, so next is Phoenix Man. Okay, his ultimate actually attacks the back row of enemies, which is I think the first of its kind. I mean, like the whole row attack, not counting single target like Amaimas or Snake. Yeah, so it attacks the entire back row of the enemy. Yeah, so it increases the damage from 150% to 180%. It also has a 70% chance to inflict burn on the enemies. Now it's increased to 100%. Yeah, so the entire back row of the enemy will be burned, for sure, 100%. And then the burn damage is 100% of Phoenix Man's attack, now increased to 120%. Yeah, so pretty significant increase. Yep, so his keepsake is actually a good one to get. Yeah, when he comes to C server, yeah, so he's not gonna come yet. Okay, next is Gyro Giro, one of the, I think, most sought after units currently. Yeah, so please save for him, for free to play or pay to play, whatever you are. Yeah, save for him, he is a good unit. So attacks all enemies, 110% damage, increased to 140%, and then reduces the enemy's max HP by 15%, now it's increased to 25% for 2 rounds. Yep, really solid unit. Okay, from here on the images are different because I think they don't design that square type one anymore. Yeah, so now on it'll be this kind. Okay, so Janos, SSR Janos. Okay, so deals an AoE damage to all enemies based on 24% of Janos' max HP, now increased to 32%. And then 70% chance to apply burn, which deals 70% of Genos' attack, increased to 90%. Yeah. And then Genos will reduce his own HP by 30% until the end of next turn, now decreased to 20%. Yeah, so Genos is actually built on HP because the damage is based on max HP, but then the burn damage is attack, so the burn damage actually not that significant. Yeah, but the HP thingy, the reduction of own HP and the damage increase is quite good. Quite a big difference. Yeah, so also another quite good keepsake to get. Okay, up next is SSR Mosquito Girl. So when you are using ultimate, you gain a lifesteal first of 50%, increase to 70% for 2 rounds, and then you do 500% attack, and it's increased to 600%, which is pretty insane. Yeah, so kind of the hardest hitting unit, I guess, if you don't count Boros with the max number of Esper allies. Yeah, this is by far one of the most painful ultimate, and it attacks one of the enemy from the back line. Yeah, so it's something like Ally Mask. Yeah, but a lot more damage. Yeah, and also lifesteal, so yeah, pretty crazy. 70% lifesteal, so since you are doing a crazy amount of damage, you also heal back a crazy amount. Yeah, so she's a really good unit. Okay, moving on, Watchdog Man increases the ultimate damage from 25% of max HP to 30%. And then you also seal your enemy from 2 energy becomes 3 energy. Yep, pretty solid. Not that big of a difference, but still pretty good. And then up next, I think, is probably one of the best unit in the game right now. So Awakened Tatsumaki, it deals 3 hits AoE to all enemies, 150% damage to increase to 180%, and then also 100% chance to apply force field to all enemies. Yeah, so this is where the ultimate becomes insane. So 100% chance to inflict this force field to all enemies, and then the damage is increased from 160 to 220%. So this is a dot damage that activates before your enemy moves, which means that you already do 180% to all enemies, and then when it's their turn, when that unit takes a turn, it gets dealt 220% of Tatsu's attack. Yeah, so it's about, if you have the keepsake, it makes it about 400% damage to all enemies. Yeah, so this is pretty insane. Yeah, so if you have her, then yeah, I think you can start saving like shuriken tickets for her keepsake. Alright, SSR Amai Mask. Okay, so his ultimate actually doesn't use any energy. It heals all allies for 100% of Amai's attack, increased to 150%. And then it also increased ally speed to 90% of Amai's own speed. Yeah, it's increased to 95%, which means that, for example, Amai has 100 speed, and then your ally maybe has 50 speed. If you use the ultimate on the ally, his speed becomes 95. Yeah, so it becomes 95% of Amai's speed. Yeah, which is quite crazy, and it also combos well, I think, with the next unit, so Drive Knight. So Drive Knight is, I think, one of the hardest hitting if all the conditions are met, but then he also has the slowest speed in the game. Yeah, so if combined with Amai, I think it'll be pretty strong. And his ultimate also doesn't cost any energy. Yeah, so the base damage, it attacks 120% to the enemy's entire row, it increases to 150% of your attack, and then it applies force field to the main target for 1 round. And then the force field damage also increases from 160 to 220. Yeah, but this only affects 1 target. Yeah, but then, in addition, his bite. So if you guys don't know what he does, I think I'll link a video at the top right here. Yeah, because his ultimate is quite hard to understand. So this bite actually means that every time an enemy has the force field activated, which means that I think even Tatsumaki's also will count. Yeah, every time the force field activates, Drive Knight gains 1 stack of bite. So each stack increases his attack by 240%, and then after the keepsake it becomes 330%. Yeah, so it means that if you get it's up to 3 stacks, which means that if 3 of your enemies get the force field damage, your next turn you'll have a 990% increase in your attack, which is, yeah, almost 1000. Yep. So yeah, the conditions are not easy to meet, but if you have the Awakened Tatsumaki, I think it will be quite easy because the force field will affect all enemies. Yep. So yeah, that is Drive Knight's skill and his Ultra Ultimate. Okay, last but not least, the newest unit in the game, Bomb, and the last unit of 2020. Yeah, so a new core. His ultimate increases from 195% to 240% damage to the entire row of enemy. Also 100% chance to reduce main target's healing effect. So the healing effect will be reduced from 45% to 65%. Yeah, so quite good. And yeah, I think that's all for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I forgot to make the end page again. Yeah, so yeah, that's all for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button below. Also subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss future videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.